In this week's video we replaced the valves on our shore flow pumps for the Watermaker, and then we disassembled the Watermaker yet again. And then we open up the debate on those infamous flashing lights. Love 'em or hate 'em? Tell us what you think in the comments. Of course, after you've watched the video. With the Watermaker not working properly, we decided to check the pumps. Both the pressure and the flow were down. So we asked one of our patrons, Joe, who was in the UK, to bring back the valves we might need. £85 worth. Just got our shore flow, hang on, let's zoom out. Just got our shore flow pumps out for our Watermaker. So there's two of them, one there, one there. And they could do with a bit of a clean up. But that's not the main reason we got them out. The main reason we got them out is because we've been struggling with the Watermaker to get it to go. Now, I took one pump apart the other day and found, you can see this, these little diaphragm lips are damaged there, and we think that's the chemical which it was pickled with. And we found out the other day that Spectral Watermakers have to have a special chemical, and yet the guy in the Spectral dealer that we got the chemical from for pickling over the winter gave us the wrong one, and we think it's damaged these lip seals. You can see the lip seals are definitely damaged. So bought two new ones of these. We got Joe to bring them back from the UK, and they were £85 for the pair. Yeah, £85 for that. Well, for two of those. One's already in the pump. I'm just about to put this one back in, and then we'll put the pumps back in, clean them all up, connect them up, see what happens. I'm pretty sure that that's the damage, though. It looks like it, doesn't it? That's not sealing there. And we're getting water through the pump, but nothing like the pressure or flow that we should have had. So let's see what happens. Watermaker again. This must be part 10. So we've just replaced all the valves. I've just done a little video on. I think you've just seen that. On the pumps are working absolutely fine. 150 psi. 7.5 litres a minute, perfect. We've had this apart that many times. We've had the repair kit done, and I keep taking it apart hoping that I'll find something new that I missed before. I cannot find what is wrong with this piece of kit. I really can't. Everything measures as it should do. It's lubricated, it's working, but as soon as you turn the thing on, it goes gadunk, gadunk, and it should be going gadunk, 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 gadunk. So I think it's a valve issue somewhere. But we keep throwing money at it, that's the thing. We just spent £85 replacing these valves on the pumps, because the pumps were down on pressure and down on rate of flow quite considerably. We've now got a fantastic rate of flow and fantastic pressure, but it's all coming outside the boat. None of it's going through the pump properly. So I'll start with the main block first, and the valves and the pistons in there, and let's see what happens, because the Watermaker is not necessary, but it is just such a luxury to have that we can't live without it. And if this doesn't work this time, it's going to become a fishing weight. Right. That's as it should be. That piston feels jammed. Let's take the other side off and have a look. I just thought of a thumbnail. Naked water making. Not naked. Right, that's the 2 blocks. No, it's not blocks. That's exactly how it should be. That's how it should go. That should go backwards and forwards like that. Clearly it's not. So after a total strip down of the Watermaker again, the only thing that we can find that isn't quite right is the piston rod. It appears to be damaged in some way. Now this part isn't available in Turkey, so we weren't able to get one, but hopefully now we're back in Europe we can find a dealer that's got one and doesn't want to sell it as part of a kit. Otherwise I think the Watermaker is going to be changed for something which is less trouble. So while we've been in Turkey, we've noticed an awful lot of these torpedo lights, they call them here, but they're buoy markers or fishing markers. And they're sold on eBay and Amazon and on local sites all around the world. Apparently they comply with the regulations. Let's show you exactly what we mean. So here an online shop called Oscarlati, quite popular in Europe, is selling them as LED signalling lights for signalling buoys or fishing nets. However, that's not what they tend to be used for. If you look at the advertising, it says Gazette number 112 dated 30th of the 4th 2011, Article 13, 16, 17 of the Central European Regulations. So we looked all this up to see exactly what it is they were on about, and apparently it's part of the EU Fishing Directive. But we couldn't actually find the bit that says yes, you can use these for marking nets or fishing boats or anything else. So if you know exactly where it's covered in this European directive, perhaps you can let us know, because we couldn't find it, although it is a massive, massive document. Now of course you'll all be familiar with these, the coal regs. So we thought we'd look up in the coal regs exactly what it says about this type of lamp. So in the coal regs it's rule 30, which governs what you should be showing when anchored or vessel aground, and this is set up in paragraphs A, B, C, D and E, and as you can see it only shows an all-round white light for vessels that are anchored. Vessels that are actually aground, it's 2 all-round red lights in a vertical line. So nothing about flashing red lights or flashing white lights. So if you move on to regulation 36, I think this is what they're relying on. Signals to attract attention. And it says quite clearly, if necessary to attract the attention of another vessel, any vessel may make light or sound signals that cannot be mistaken for any other signal authorised elsewhere in these rules. That's the coal regs. So anything that does not or cannot be construed as a different light signal. And that rule goes on to say, in a way as not to embarrass any vessel, any light to attract the attention of another vessel shall be such that it cannot be mistaken for and aid to navigation. For the purpose of this rule, the use of high intensity, intermittent or revolving lights, such as strobe lights, shall be avoided. And I think that's a misprint. I think they mean strobe lights. Now if we look at boats that are at anchor, an all-round white light high up or all-round white light low down may not necessarily be seen in the background lights that you normally get in a harbour or in an anchorage, and I think that's where the animosity that seems to abound over these lamps starts. Now, we didn't actually have any of these until we had an incident in Keckover, where at night we were nearly run down by a fast speedboat and a drunken owner. He wasn't looking up in the air for our anchor light. He didn't see our deck lights, which were gently flickering away, all round whites, and nearly hit the boat. And it was at this point we decided that we needed to make our boat more significant, to stand out more amongst the other boats so that we didn't get hit. And we purchased 2 of the red flashing lamps. I'll show you them in a minute. Now whether you do your anchoring in region A or region B, it's hard to understand how these lamps could be construed as navigation lamps, because you don't actually anchor in a fairway, and what you will see is something like this: a white lamp at high, all round, and a red flasher, or a green flasher, or in some cases, if they've bought a blue one, you might actually see a blue flashing lamp, and it will look something like this. So it would be extremely difficult for you to confuse one of these lamps with an all-round white above as an aid to navigation, especially in a fairway. One of the busiest places we know for lights is at the end of the River Hamble, where it joins Southampton Water, and if you look at what's being shown here in Boyage, none of these could be confused for one of these lamps, and you're unlikely to see anyone trying to anchor in the middle of the fairway. Now let's say you were entering an anchorage or the River Hamble and you saw a set of these lights, you'd obviously exhibit extreme caution. Why? Well, it's something that's not on the chart, and it doesn't agree with any of the navigational aids that you are likely to see, especially in this part of the world, as there are very, very few lit buoys in the Mediterranean, especially the further east you go. Now, just to muddy the waters even further, technically there should be someone on watch at all times, a lookout, and that person needs to be aware of what their surroundings are, especially if the weather's bad or it's dark. So, you know, technically you shouldn't be asleep when at anchor. Bit of a mess in here because we've got stuff out, but I just wanted to show you our blue LED lights that come up and shine out of our windows, and underneath our table out the back we have these green lights. Now they actually look white on the video. Let's see if I change them to red. So that's what we change them to red at night when we're sailing. What I wanted to show you was this. So there are 4 small LEDs in this red flashing light. It doesn't light up the whole anchorage, but what it does do is just alerts people that we are here. And we have another one under our canopy. Again, it's not a strobe, it's just 4 red LEDs. We do actually have some solar lamps as well. We have what we call F3, which I think you've seen before, up the back here. Can't see it really. But we have another lamp here which is activated by movement. And one of the other things I wanted to show you is down here. Can you see it? There's a blue lamp. Just see it, I'll put it in the middle of the screen. That's a blue one, that's Joe's. Those three lights on the marina. There are a few other lights flashing, can't actually see them. Yeah, there's one over there, there's a red one over there. A red one and a blue one. England are playing in the football tonight, so, and our neighbours have a white flasher, you can see it there. So and that's a party boat, that blue light that's travelling along there. So this is the quiet anchorage, and I'll show you now on the chart there are no other lamps. So if you look down here, there's actually, you can't see my fingers in front of the camera, right in front of us now there's a cat, that's White Cat, and right behind me here is David's Eternity. There's his light at the top, you can only just see it, and White Cat's is there, looks like a star, you see that now. So if you're looking down at water's level, you can't see these boats, those two boats. The ones that have got flashing lights or other lights on, you can. And we've just had a fast rib come past us doing 20 knots or so, with half a dozen people on it, zigzagging in and out of these boats, some of which you can't see unless you're looking up. Well, if you're looking up, you're not looking at the water in front of you. Anyway, so I thought I'd show you that. There's our lamp. Not fantastically bright, but yes, there it is. So we've opened the dialogue. Tell us what you think. You may disagree, you may not, but tell us in the comments. Please, no rudeness, just let's have some reasoned argument and debate on whether these lamps are a good idea or a bad idea. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but most of all, everybody's entitled to get a good night's sleep without someone hitting their boat. Until next time, guys, sail safe. Don't forget, put something in the comments, let us know what you think.